Sorry about that. Let's try that. Oh, hi. All right. It's good morning. It's 8:33, and this is the Mayor Manager meeting. And in the Teams room is Linda Olson, Dan Harvey, Jade Truscott-Reed, Nathaniel Sierra, Sean Lewis, Stephanie Carlisle. Sorry about that. Did I tell you about I scratched my eye a few weeks ago with Christmas sugar granules?
Oh.
I got some. They fell out of the cupboard and went all over the place, and I was cleaning it up, and somehow I must have gotten something in my eye, and it went in, and oh my gosh, I had for 2 days. It was terrible. Unfortunately, it wasn't mine.
Nice.
So this morning I got a little nervous again. Like, I'm not doing very well here. All right.
We are recording.
Good. Yeah. Well, hello everybody. Didn't I just say it?
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yep, you're good.
Great. We'll start with.
Go ahead.
We'll start with May 3rd, potential sale of Municipal Fire Training Center, a discussion in executive session, and then a study session memo on the capital improvement plan request. This is your first look at that. Consideration of budget advisory committee plan to review annual capital improvement plan. And then on the regular side, we have Inglewood Environmental Foundation Snow and Ice Services Change Order number 2, Malley Trust Fund expenditure recommendations, Stiefel Professional Services Agreement renewal, fiber optic design services, resolution to appoint Councilmember Ward to URA, Esri Small Municipal County Government Enterprise Agreement for our GIS services, approval of an IGA with CDOT for construction of West Dartmouth improvements, approval of IGA with CDOT for the Floyd and South Elati intersection improvements, IGA for with the county for home consortium funding, and ordinance to establish local process for campaign finance complaints, IGA with RTD for the trolley, IGA with Arapahoe County for CDBG, and approval of IGA with CDOT for design and construction of something. What is that, Jade? Oh, Dartmouth traffic calming corridor. Didn't we have that above? Or is it different?
It's different.
I believe it was different.
It is. Thank you. West Dartmouth multimodal. Yeah.
Number 15.
Yes. And I think if we can go back up, we've already assigned timeframes to the, yes, or no, we haven't. Not for the CIP. We need to, presentation is 45 minutes.
That's because there is a lot to explain and teach us about. Is that why 45 to 60 minutes, or is that what they think the whole thing should take?
Well, I think we just have that many projects to go through, but we certainly don't have to. If you all would rather, just read those, we can do that too.
I think maybe if we can go through them faster, I think people are reading. I mean, do you think, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I think people are reading it.
I do want to hop in here, and I apologize. It looks like at the previous one we actually went ahead and placed this at 30 minutes and 30 minutes, and I had updated that. I'm sorry that this didn't come over, and then it looks like we also did do this guy as well.
Does sound familiar.
Yes,
yeah,
so we do have those times. I apologize that those didn't get transferred.
Thank you.
All right.
Does that sound okay, Mir? 30 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try to hit the highlights.
Yeah.
I think our presentation to P&Z is usually a full hour. And I think we've got that slated for week after next. I can't remember, but we can make it a little shorter and hit the highlights because it'll come back to you as well.
Okay. And then back to the BAC thing. Gosh, for some reason, I thought that was on the agenda for last night. And I told Steve Ward that it was.
I had it there as well, Linda.
Yeah, why did it not end up being there? And it didn't dawn on me until he asked. I went, oh, that's right. I thought BAC was supposed to have been last night. But anyway, we're doing it here. We probably won't need much more than, I mean, it'll probably be shorter, but we can just say it's that long.
So I guess my question there, Mayor, so are we able to provide direction, or does this have to go onto a study session or a council item to vote
Well,
on?
I thought it was a council item. Yeah, so let's move it, right? It's
Right,
no
'cause
longer.
I think it's,
Everyone said, let's
Right.
bring it forward.
Yep.
And Attorney Sellers told us it'd be easy to do. Just come up with the that you all will come up with the language, right? So.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can. I was planning on actually drafting it.
Okay.
Or today, tomorrow, if that works.
That's great. Yeah, let's just put it on the regular agenda and we'll vote.
Great.
I am sorry, I just want to clarify, will this be done by motion or will this be done by resolution, ordinance?
It's a resolution.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was capturing the correct thing.
Oh, it is. Okay.
This will require 2 readings because it's an ordinance, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this would be an amendment to the code.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mayor, I think I mentioned last time, but in addition to their work on this, the attorneys discovered that both the Library Board and Transportation Advisory Board also have CIP review authority as well, at least over those areas which affect them.
Right.
So. But there's no liability of making every board and commission looking at it. So, I mean, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying there's no danger in doing that for the.
So I think the question is, how do we get the feedback from them? Because it's no use for them to be actually looking at it if we're not going to provide some avenue. So can you all come up with some way in which they can report to us? I don't want to have them all come to the meetings, but is there?
You're talking about the other boards?
Yeah, like is there a written, affirmation and?
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit in the leadership team meeting. And I think Christina does not have any capital and hasn't for a few years in the library, but certainly there are transportation related capital projects that the TAB can review. And so we'll just make that a part of the process.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, are we ready to move down to May, I think, 10th?
We did have one more ordinance that was added, and I wanted to confirm if you would like that on consent or not for establishing the process for campaign finance.
Where did that come from?
That's from me.
Good.
So there was new legislation, and it's just something that shows that we have to have a local process versus being able to punt those complaints to the Secretary of State's office. So it's just to bring us into compliance. So we just have to add a section in our code for what that process would be if there are any campaign finance complaints.
Okay, I think that needs to be on regular, not consent, because it's new, something really new. I think we'll have people asking questions.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
And just for my own clarification, I did see there was an item for appointment to the URA. I know there was an issue where there was a former council member, I think Stone, who was appointed, I think, in 2020, and who actually still has a term until 2025. Was there I guess resolution on that? Or I think we put together a memo, giving the option of potentially creating a city council member position to make it a little bit more flexible. So just for my own clarification and how.
I was going to go back to that because I think we have the same thing with anybody who's been on that who is off council. Laurette Barentine is also, I mean, they have to resign, don't they? So.
Yeah, I mean, technically they're still on the URA unless they've resigned from their position. But kind of the way we've done it with other clients is to actually create basically what we call a city council member position for purposes of the URA. And then it provides more flexibility to be kind of, in line with a city council term.
That makes sense. And can we do that with this new appointment?
So I think with this one, we're either gonna, currently I think we're probably gonna need Councilmember Stone to resign. And I think actually there was some discussion as to him resigning anyways. So I just wanted to make sure that that's, occurred. And I can look into that if
Yeah, if you would, and I bet
Yeah.
all it takes is a phone call to him to ask him and tell him we're cleaning it up. If not, I can definitely call him.
Yeah, and if that's the case, if he's resigned, then there's no issue with appointing Councilmember Ward.
He has resigned from council, so, and everything related to that. Does that mean he's resigned from everything that he's on that he could stay on?
Well, he actually needs to resign specifically from
Okay,
URA. Yeah. Technically, his term is kind of overlapping with
yeah.
council term.
So we have to receive his resignation then before we vote on this, or what happens?
Yeah, I think it would probably make sense to just have some confirmation that he's resigned from the URA. So we don't have kind of two council members appointed to that URA position. So I can I've been kind of discussing with staff, so I can look into it and just confirm that that's the case. So there are not any issues with approving Councilmember Ward to the URA.
So then what happens with Laurette Barentine, who lost the last election but was also on URA? Is she automatically still on and she need to resign too?
Well, so she was when did she actually get appointed to the URA?
I don't know.
Okay. Well maybe I can look
Would
into.
she have to be reappointed in order to serve? Is that how it would work?
Yeah, I mean, if the term was up. Yeah, so it's a 5-year term.
We can check on her term, and I know that the city clerk's office, Jackie McKinnon, is working to try to get John's resignation on that, so.
Okay, great. All right. It makes sense to, is it? Boy, we're getting feedback, aren't we?
We are.
Great, then let's do whatever we need in that spot. If we have to do a couple different motions in order to clean it all up, let's do it.
Yeah, and basically, if he's resigned, then you should just be good to go.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, Jade. Let's see, what is this? Oh, steering committee for Unified Development Code rewrite. So this is interviews for that group. And how long are we allocating? Oh, okay, 6 to 8:40. So, yeah.
And I just want to clarify. Oh, go ahead, Jane.
Oh,
Well, we just wanted clarification on whether we still want to add. Originally, we only thought there would be a few interviews for the steering committee. And so we do still, we added a study session topic. So with interviews going to 8:40, we just need to clarify if you still want to have the study session on proclamation approval policy.
I would say no.
No, we can bump that down to another time.
Okay, yeah, we didn't, I don't think they expected to have that many applicants, so it's great. It just took up the whole study session.
Yeah, it's a good list too.
All right, so that will move to May 17th, let's say. And also on May 17th.
Do you mind if I interject? I reached out to Jackie and she said that the emails and phone numbers that we had were not valid, and so and Krista didn't have any update information, so we have not gotten a hold of council member or John Stone. So if somebody does,
I have a cell phone that works from.
Okay.
I'll send that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we did give Jackie the current information that we have. I just confirmed. All right, so we have on May 17th, organized garbage and recycling collection. This is to review the RFP. Historic Preservation Commission is going to review some language about a new landmark program. Legislation tracking. This is just to determine whether or not you want to look at legislation that affects the city. And then consideration of policy regarding special flags at city facilities. Consideration of, Pollinator Month proclamation. Mayor, I think this is why we were trying to squeeze that that proclamation process onto the 10th. It's because we've got a proclamation that, will no doubt be disagreement on. And then we've got on consent, SCADA virtualization at Allen Water Treatment Plant, award of a contract to HDR Inc. for, HDR, sorry, it just completely got off. Thank you. HDR for final design engineering for storm sewer, audio visual modernization for streaming in person and virtual council meetings, framework agreement with LNR, IG, and that's one of the big property owners at City Center. IGA between CDOT and us for rehabilitation widening Dartmouth Avenue over South Platte Bridge, South Platte River. Approval of IGA for Tri-Cities Homelessness Plan of Action, and that's it.
So can we go back and talk about the proclamation then? Because I'm trying to figure out if what we were thinking about doing for this coming Monday would work in this case. So if I remember correctly, we do want to have a larger discussion, but in the meantime, if we want to keep that potentially have that proclamation on there, don't the city council members need to see it ahead of time and then provide comment prior to us voting on it?
Well, we haven't established that process, but I mean, certainly that is, I think, what we're proposing. But
I'm just wondering,
now.
Do we put it down as a mayor's choice item on May 3rd? The proclamation, and then whether or not there's consensus to move it forward on the 17th?
Yeah, let me check with Tim. I think maybe we could do that. Well, we can't vote. Well, we could vote.
Well, we wouldn't vote. We wouldn't vote on it, but just the fact that it provides the community, council members can discuss the item within the community, or I need another cup of coffee. But we could discuss it out in the open, I guess is what I'm saying. But Linda, do you remember if that was the major concern by Member Anderson, Member Ward? Well, I think Member Ward had a different concern, but.
Yeah, Member Ward doesn't want any proclamations, so that was really more of his, but he does want a process. But so the process right now, which we did establish, was that we send it out to everybody ahead of time. If there are major problems with it, then we'd bring it forward to talk about it. But if there's not, lots of times no one ever says anything. We just do it. But I don't know where that got codified, if it did get codified or put in a policy for us. I remember we worked on it with Allison, I think. Maybe. I don't know. So I am fine with this one being put on. Danielle, are you suggesting we have it under mayor's choice to talk about how we handle proclamations, or this one in particular?
Well, because I started thinking about this, if we talk about this process on the 3rd, about the one specifically for Pollinator Month, this may actually just lead into a wider discussion about just what our process should be for any kind of proclamations. So I'm not sure if it should be one or the other or both, but.
Well, Sean and Dan, have you seen other cities have a process that's really clear that we could easily take a look at?
So as it turns out, actually, yesterday, I know Tim had reached out to us, and we're going to compile a few that we have from some of our other clients that we should be able to send along. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if we just do this one separately until we get a chance to look at those, or do you think you'd have enough, Dan, to have us have that conversation that night?
I think we're trying to get it together this week. So I mean, if that, I guess, gives enough time for the city to kind of take a look at the policies that we have and see maybe what works. I guess it kind of depends on how much time I guess you would need to review them.
Yeah. That's as good a guess as anybody's.
Right.
So with that known, so could we do that for Nathaniel for Monday night next week in Mayor's Choice, and then come back? I mean, the pollinators thing is that for this May?
For the 17th.
17th.
Okay.
But it's for the month of May.
Right. Which some people don't like when we're doing it that late, but this is the one that Cherry Hills came up with, right? Or it's similar, and it's one we've been battling back and forth on.
Yes.
Okay. Is it Pollinators Month in May?
I believe so.
Okay. All right, let's try and do it that way then. Do it in May 3rd, and then we'll come back with it on the 17th.
Sounds like a plan, so I'll keep that one on the 17th. And I did want to clarify with this guy, the following study session, the 24th, is interviews. So are you okay with us coming back on June 7th to discuss the proclamation process?
That's fine, but you know what? Let's do during that Mayor's Choice time is also put the pollinators one out there so that we can at least have some kind of agreement. Can we go ahead and move this one forward for the 17th? We haven't fully adopted a process yet. Is that okay to do that way?
I do want to provide a correction. Pollinator month is June. So I just looked at the proclamation. So we could push this off, but we can just, I apologize. I should have known that. So why don't we just keep it where it moved to May 17th to talk about the the proclamation process, if that's okay. And then that'll still give us time to get it on the agenda for one of the first meetings in June, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I was thinking it was May.
Okay.
So then go ahead, Mayor. Should
we have the pollinator thing on the one in May so that they can see one that's coming forward as a...
Well, depending on what your process you select, yes. But we do have another meeting in May, I think, don't we? Or is this the last one?
This will be, the following one will be for interviews for board and commissions.
Okay.
And the 5th one is the 31st, Memorial Day, so no meeting anyway that night.
Well, even if we do pass the process on Monday night, on the 17th, we could still have, if there is some review process at a council meeting, it could be the first meeting in June and then come back middle of June with the proclamation.
That would be June 21st.
Right.
And I will be out of town that night. Didn't I send an email with that? I hope.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Not that it matters. I just wanted to still do what we're going to do. But Nathaniel, you're going to get a chance to do a few things this summer to get ready.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Well, one of our trips was going to be to Hawaii, but now they're limiting how you come there.
Okay, so we'll leave it on Mayor's Choice for the 3rd, but we'll bring back a policy to you on the 17th for proclamations. And
right.
If that policy includes a pre-meeting approval or pre-approval by council, then we'll have the pollinator proclamation on for that preliminary approval first meeting in June and the second meeting in June. We could also use study sessions for this, I think.
Yeah.
because we wouldn't be voting on the pre-approval, I don't think. So
No,
Yeah.
you could just have a consensus to bring it forward, right?
I think the timing's fine, at least from my perspective.
Okay. But this is the proclaiming month, pollinator month, but it's not the same as becoming a pollinator city, right? Or is it the
Correct.
same thing?
No.
So will this discussion on the 3rd be just general discussion regarding proclamations, or will it be specific to Pollinator Month?
On the 3rd, it'll be about the process.
Okay.
But Sean, can we get these together somehow? To have 2 pollinator things seems like a lot if we're going to do 2 different proclamations.
Well, what Case is asking for is something that I've never heard of. I think it's an application process to some organization, so we would need council direction on that.
Oh, I don't even think I know about that. What's that?
Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about what came to us from Cherry Hills last year, asking that we become a pollinator city, and I don't think that was a month thing. I think that was an awareness, and that's what Case got a little bit upset about, is because it didn't have enough in it. Or am I wrong? Is this all about a proclamation for June?
I don't know enough about what you're discussing to
Okay.
speak intelligently on it. I'm
All
just
right.
doing a quick search for pollinator cities. I don't find a consistent process or program that some organization is verifying pollinator cities.
No, that's true.
We could do some research on that.
Yeah, I'll resend you some stuff from Cherry. It was the one from Cherry Hills, and if all it is about a month in June, that's easy. That's different. So maybe it's not that easy, but all right, let's keep moving.
All right. May 24th, we have board and commission interviews. June 7th, we have consideration. I think this needs to be discussion of, Jade. Discussion of changing Keep Inglewood Beautiful. Okay, yeah, this is not written correctly at all. I'm sorry. So this will be discussion of adding duties to Keep Inglewood Beautiful with regard to sustainability initiatives or something.
I love that idea. I would love for us to talk about that. So that's great. I like seeing that on there.
So just delete changing. Thank you. To add sustainability responsibilities. And then we've got the pollinator proclamation now on June 7th. And then new board and commission appointments approved by council, public hearing to discuss direct election of the mayor, park improvements construction award contract, and MOU between Inglewood and Colorado State Patrol for license plate reading.
So, and we also have Citizen of the Year celebration. So I talked with Nathan Hoag, who is the person we've chosen, and said that traditionally it's been on a Monday night, a study night. Does not have to be there, but if it was in June, would the 14th or the 28th work in his schedule? And he said both would. So I think the question we have is whether or not we want to take a study session for that. That's always what we did in the past. It does not have to be what we do, but it is what the norm was. Or we can add a night to the week and have a Monday night meeting and a Tuesday night celebration. I don't know. What do you think you'd like, Nathaniel? And I will be here on the 14th and the 28th, so I'll be here for either one as well.
Well, can you scroll down to the 28th? It looks like we have quite a bit of items.
Yeah, we currently have no items scheduled for the 28th of June.
Well, there you go.
There's an answer.
Also,
All
Mayor,
right.
Really quickly on there, we had just tentatively talked about a public hearing to discuss the direct election of a mayor.
Oh, yeah.
And we have that down on June 7th, but I'm wondering, did you say if you're gone, perhaps that should be a different night as well?
I'm gone on June 21st.
Oh, June 21st. Okay.
Yeah.
So we
I
should
I
keep
I
that.
should have included you on that email. I forgot. I should have
No,
included you.
Sean sent that to me. That's okay. I do have it. I just didn't have it off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither.
But so you do want to keep the public hearing, a quote unquote public hearing for that on the 7th? That was just something we tentatively
Yeah.
talked about.
Is it a public hearing or a forum or what? Is it? It's not. Is it required to have a public hearing?
No, I thought that's what you
But is
all
that?
had discussed.
No, I don't mind doing it as a public hearing. I just I guess I'm asking about the formality of it.
There's no formality to it. So maybe we should talk offline to see how you want that. We just want to get some clarification so we can have that together for you.
I'm fine with it being a public hearing. I'm fine with it being. I don't know, Nathaniel, what you think. The more formalized we get, probably the better, because it's a big decision.
I think there was support for a public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the 14th, we have Sidewalk Gap Prioritization 2022 Budget Workshop, Citizen of the Year recognition. So I think we can delete, yeah. When did we decide on Citizen of the Year?
28th.
Great.
Hello.
And then US 85 Planning Environmental Linkage Study update. And so now we have Citizen of the Year on the 28th, and that's it.
Wait a minute, what happened to June 21st?
We have no items scheduled, so I had it stopping on the 14th, so I just added this guy. Yep.
Okay. So June 21st is a regular meeting, and I thought there was something there because I wasn't going to be here. But didn't we have some item?
Well, we said we were gonna. Well, originally we had the proclamation process as part of it. But it seems like that timeline has moved up.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll have items on the 21st, right, of June, right?
I'm certain we will, and it typically tends to be that study sessions fill out first before we get our regular meeting items coming in. But as of right now, we currently don't have anything for the 21st.
Okay, I wouldn't want can we just put a placeholder of the date in there with nothing so people don't think we're not meeting that night?
Certainly.
Not that anybody looks at this, but maybe some do, I don't know. All right.
I didn't have any council requests last night. I thought I was getting one from Joe about the American Rescue, but I think I answered that in person. I'll follow up with him on that.
Sounds good. I'm looking through my notes because I thought there was another, but maybe not. I thought came from member Russell, had to do with, and maybe it was the parks. No, it was the dog park stuff. She asked for some things around ticketing or something in every park, or what was it?
Thank you. Yes, the number of violations we've had for off leash in the parks from 2019 to 2020. Yes, I think what we're doing on that one is Parks is going to incorporate that into their next presentation. We could also do it as a council request, though.
You know what, she probably was doing it in the context of what you all bring back, but when is that coming back to us?
I'm not sure.
That's not on here yet. Partly because she needs to go back to her committee, right, and see if they really want to meet a couple more times, and then it'll probably come in the summer.
Yes, I believe that's what Christina has mentioned.
Could you, a bunch of us were asking for things then during that, so maybe it's not really a council request, because I was asking for, I'd want to have budget, and I'd want to have the area of each park if we were being proposed. So you might want to check in with Rita and make sure she wasn't asking for council requests, but it was in the context of what more information would we want back.
Okay, will do.
All right, anything else? Oh,
Not me.
oh, I know what we need on here. Approval of a city attorney contract.
Oh, good catch.
Which hopefully we will have by our next meeting.
So would that need to go on May 17th, or will the turnaround be ready for the 3rd, or?
I hope we're ready for the 3rd, but if we're not,
I'll get in contact with Rita, or not Rita, wow, sorry, I apologize, with Rhonda from HR, and I will confirm and see if she has a date for that.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it could get settled quickly and we could be ready on the 3rd. And how much notice do we need to have if it doesn't get approved until Friday afternoon or Monday morning? Can we do it that night?
City attorney would probably need to weigh in on that. I mean, packet goes out Thursday in 2 days, so we would just need to have some guidance of how you want to handle that if it comes in after that.
Yeah, well, let me take a quick look and I'll let Steph know.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Otherwise, yeah, every week that we keep going, if it doesn't get settled or we can't meet it, we're gonna have to do a special meeting then because it'll delay start. So if it doesn't work, then on the 10th, we would have to have it and do a special meeting so we can make a decision that night. So that's the other option. Maybe it's just a placeholder there. Ooh, the 10th is that. Well, that would be worth still doing it. Right, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I guess so. If it's that, if it'll go quick, I guess. But I just know after interviews that I seem to be pretty worn out.
All right, let's just keep it there so we don't forget. All right, I think that's it. Anybody else have anything?
Not I.
All right, it's 9:10 and this mayor manager meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.
Take care,
Thanks, everyone.